Welcome back to the Birds on Power Lines podcast. And for this podcast, we are once again doing a video podcast. Mm-hmm. And if you are listening on an audio format, you can find the video version of this podcast on our YouTube station or our YouTube location, which is Birds on Power Lines podcast. Mm-hmm. And there are other things at Birds on Power Lines as well.
That you should look at.
That you can look at. Yes. But if you want specifically the podcast, just add in the podcast and you'll go right to the podcast.
Yep.
So, yeah. And if you're listening on audio, that's perfectly fine. You won't miss much other than seeing us talking about you.
Yeah.
So
pretty much. Not. Well, I mean, you'll miss the fun and interesting things on our shelves.
I'll be on the shelves.
Yes.
All right. So for this podcast, we are talking about the Acolyte. Mm-hmm. And I guess it's
a little bit late.
We're a little late,
especially by the time this comes out.
But, yeah. So what we were doing other things, and you can see other podcasts that we've been doing. Yep. And I think this is actually our first Star Wars themed podcast. I think it is.
Actually, I think you're right.
Which is odd.
Oh, did we do Ahsoka?
No, we didn't do it. We didn't do Ahsoka.
Oh.
We did not.
That's weird, considering the fact that like Star Wars is so much of a part of our life. Yeah. Whatever. Okay.
It's just like weird, but this is our first Star Wars because we've been doing a lot of Doctor Who. So if you haven't listened to any of that, go check out our Doctor Who stuff. We've done quite a bit of that. So there you go. What we did, so we don't know what each other are going to say. Well, full quote. No. We made one mistake, so we had to restart. That was my fault. But we didn't know what each other are going to say, and
we don't know about the back half.
We don't know. So we both took a different approach.
Yeah.
Right. So what did you do?
I just wrote down my thoughts about each episode. That's all I did.
Just random thoughts.
Yeah, just my thoughts. Things I noticed, things I wanted to mention.
And then from my perspective, I tried to write down I guess
your favorite scene?
My favorite scene. And then the other thing I wanted to do, and I don't know why, but I guess after watching the first episode there was something about it that made me want to do this.
Mystery. It's a mystery suspense thriller.
I wanted to predict how I think things were going to go. So I have predictions.
To be the detective.
I don't know what it is, but I was on the prediction mode, and that's what I did. So you'll hear my prediction for each episode.
Yes.
So and that was a thing, right? Mm-hmm. And so should I start?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So because I have something here that has nothing to do with the episode.
Yeah.
So I just made this what I thought was an interesting observation. It might not be, but I was just making a comment because I wrote everything down. Like I always write things down on paper. So the A's. So I put Ahsoka, Andor, Acolyte, Anakin, so we got this.
We like A names in Star Wars.
I just thought that was funny.
And then we're next year we're getting Andor season 2, and at some point we're supposed to get like Alphabet Squadron.
Yeah, so
and that's the A's.
Another A, and I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But so and then reflecting on this, I out of these, I just... So you want me to start as to...
Yeah, you can start. Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of... the first comment, and it has nothing to do with, anything else, but I don't know why I felt motivated to do this, but I said, unlike Ahsoka, so far I'm not as irritated with any of the characters yet. Just... Ahsoka, I just didn't like Sabine. I just didn't like her. Sorry, I did not like her, and I know you disagree with me.
I disagree because I agree and disagree. I agree that the show did not portray, that Ahsoka specifically did not portray her in the way that she should have been portrayed, but the original source material, Star Wars Rebels, she should have been portrayed in a closer manner to that. I just feel like I
was just irritated.
Okay.
And that
they didn't give her a chance.
And that I'm sorry, just ruined Ahsoka.
I still liked her, but
and I'm going to get into why that is as we get into this. But I just didn't, and still in terms of the Disney series, just so that you know what type of person I am. My favorite is still going to be Andor. I love it.
Well, we're different people. But we both like Andor.
It's Andor
for different reasons.
And for different reasons.
Yes.
But the thing is with Andor, even though it was depressing Every episode, I felt terrible at the end of it.
I think that never happens.
And we know where the trajectory is going, right? We know what happens to him.
Yeah. But, I hope he finds his sister.
But it was just such a good series, and I guess maybe because of that, now I kind of look at
spoiled.
I'm spoiled. I'm like, they're not as good as Andor, and I just can't help myself. I mean, I know, and then in terms of the movies, I think we both like Rogue One.
Yeah.
So there's that, but those are the movies. But with the series, there's that, and that's why I started off with such a negative thing. I don't like starting off negative. Like, so far, I'm not irritated.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, continue.
But then I thought, okay, I just feel like, Disney's trying to make a cool character, and just no. And so then I thought in this one, there was kind of a weird scene in my mind, was that with the crash, Osha got up and there was nothing wrong. Not a scratch on her.
That normally doesn't happen.
That's just like, what are you talking about? So I was kind of like, no, I tried to suspend my disbelief, but that I was just not buying that. So I said,
She's got the Force.
I just got them. Okay.
I mean, look.
Okay, I didn't think of that.
Think about all the times that any Jedi ever is in a starfighter and they crash or something happens to them. They're always fine. They've got the Force. They're like Jedi. They can do space wizard stuff.
I don't know. It just kind of like. Anyway, so I was holding my thoughts as I thought the first episode was good, despite losing Carrie-Anne-Moss's character right away. It's just like, that was a bad and movie. I'm like going, oh, she's gonna die.
I didn't like that. Yeah.
And I know you did not like that, but I was just like, she's gonna die. No. Yeah. Okay, so you go ahead.
So the first thing I wrote was that I was really mad that they killed off Indara, which is Carrie-Anne-Moss's character. Yeah. Because I like Carrie-Anne-Moss because you don't kill off Trinity. You don't do that.
And that tells you
don't do that.
This one is a total fan of the Matrix.
I love the Matrix.
So you just don't do that.
So
don't touch Trinity.
They killed her off in the first 5 minutes, and I was disappointed because I saw her in the trailer, and I was like, oh, Carrie-Anne-Moss in my Star Wars? Yeah, sure. But no. Anyway, but I did like Pip because I really like, I like all of the droids. Pretty much any show, any movie with Star Wars, I always get attached to the droids. And I mean, I know that's the purpose. That's really the point.
And that's from the beginning, right? That's why I've got R2 sitting up here on the shelf.
I always like the droids. I always like the droids. I don't agree with the Mandalorian. I love the droids. The droids can stay. They're adorable.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. He doesn't like droids.
He doesn't like droids. I like droids. Anyway, and then I was gonna say, and then I would have liked to see if Indara had stayed alive, I would have liked to see both her and Master Soul working together and stuff. And I just feel like just having Soul by himself, I mean, I liked Master Soul. I think even to the end, I still think he was a very good character. I really liked him quite a lot. Yeah. And I think Leejungjae did a really good job of acting, and yes. I liked his character. I didn't like Yord at the beginning, and for most of the time that Yord was there, I didn't like him until right up until the very end. Oh my god! I didn't like him because I thought he was a jerk,
just annoying guy.
Yeah, I didn't like him. I did like Jackie. She was great, but we'll talk more about that later. And I had a whole feeling that I had a feeling that. Given what happened, Osha could not have possibly done the crime that she was accused of committing. So I had a feeling that it was a twins type situation. Like they said, oh, May died. Did she die? Did she die though? Did she though? We didn't see one rule of Star Wars: if you don't see the body, they're not dead. So yeah, I had a feeling it was going to be a twins type situation, and I wrote that down. Okay,
and I actually didn't say the scene I liked best.
Oh, I think
I didn't. I did not. I said at the start-ish, I liked on Coruscant. I liked that when they were the younglings were describing the Force. I really liked that, and to be honest, when one said
that was a good idea
that they described fire, I was thinking that was a flashback and that was Osha, but it wasn't. But I really liked that, and then I also liked the last scene with May and the Sith Master. I thought that was cool. And I didn't have a prediction yet at the end of the first one.
A little bit too early to.
So I started that on the second episode. So,
Yeah.
so do you want me to start? Oh yeah, and the first episode was called Lost Found, right?
Yeah.
So second episode, should I go forward?
Why don't wait? Yeah, you were going first. So yeah, why don't you go first?
No, it doesn't matter. We can switch it up.
No, maybe.
Okay, I'll go because I'm talking right now, and then you can just keep going with the third one.
Sure.
Okay, so episode 2, Revenge Justice. Oh, so starting to feel the irritation that I did with Sabine. I just feel that Disney could write female characters better. Mm-hmm. I said it's so predictable. I mean, just because the character is rebellious, right? Rebellious doesn't mean that they have to be predictable.
If you can't see, it's air quotes.
Yeah, air quotes. Yeah, air quotes.
You can get that from the
if
top.
you're on audio, I just did air quotes because I'm of that generation. That's what I did.
Is that the way I do that?
I don't know, maybe. So just because they're rebellious doesn't mean that they have to be predictable and thick, right? Like it's just like. And then I was trying to be reflective. I said maybe when I was young, the original Star Wars, they didn't do rebellious female characters well either. Okay,
I mean, like we all love Princess Leia. We love her, but like
yes, but still, it was that was the 1970s, right? Yeah. And really, I mean, that was you of course you don't know, but like back then, seeing a character that wasn't a guy, and was wearing a dress, running around shooting things, that was cool. All right, I mean, that was something you just never saw. Right? But I mean, now it's different. You can have a rebellious character that actually has some intelligence. Like, honestly, like I thought, because I think that really bothered me. It was just like, I mean, of course she isn't gonna listen to what Soul says. Like, it's just like, oh, stay here. Well, she's not, and then of course she shoots at her sister and completely misses. Like, really?
Stormtrooper.
The Stormtrooper syndrome. But I mean, really, I mean. It would have been more. It could have been more interesting, right? I mean, I don't think that she would kill her sister, but I mean, she could have.
Yeah, I mean, from the last instance, it's around. It's a stun gun.
Could have been more interesting. I was just like, of course she's not gonna like. I mean, I was just like textbook. I was like, oh yeah. As soon as they say stay here, no.
But again,
and then of course you're just gonna like mess things up, right? Like, and it really bothers me. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But then for me, like again, I said I was gonna do the best scene. For me, the best scene was actually the fight scene. Mm-hmm. I really liked that whole thing with Soul and May. That was very interesting. Soul is a master, so it should be a challenge, right? Unlike Indira, right? That was just silly, right? I mean, really.
Well, I mean, she was like, because she had to save the.
Okay, you're making excuses. This is a Jedi master. I'm sorry.
I know.
It should have been harder, Like I don't know, but anyways, I really liked how that move where Soul got all of her weapons, and I liked that whole thing with the dust at the end that she kind of give up, but I need to cover my tracks. So she that was good. The escape was good, and okay. So then I made my first prediction. So my first prediction at end, expect May will kill the Wookiee, so Kalnaka, and I suspect she didn't set the fire and kill the family, right? So I suspect that she didn't cause the death of the family. Something just doesn't seem right. To me. So that was my first prediction. All right. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, so I actually focused a little bit more on Chimera, because like now we like first like see him a little bit. He just seemed really random at the beginning. Like he seemed a little bit like, why is it
Chimera or Chimera? Whatever it is.
I thought it was Chimera.
Chimera? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Because I
don't
think they ever said his name in the...
No, they did. Did they? I think they did. I just don't remember.
Just maybe once.
And I just know because I was like reading the wiki after. I don't know.
The stranger,
whatever. Yeah. So.
But anyways, however you say.
So he just seemed a little bit weird to me. Like he's like, why is he there? He just seems a little bit random and shifty. So I was like a little bit suspicious. I didn't trust him. Like, what are his plans? I feel like he's kind of playing both sides. Like he's a little bit little bit suspicious. Like,
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
coming.
I thought he was a little bit suspicious. I didn't really know why he was there. But then I also thought that Osha's tattoo, like the tattoo that she got like after like a crazy night in corpse sec, I thought that would be important later, but it kind of didn't really end up being that important. Like,
Yeah,
I thought,
you see it again.
You do see it. No, but I thought it would be important to like serve as an identifier, but it ended up being May's tattoo that served as an identifier to tell between her and Osha. But yeah, I just thought that would be important later. It actually never ended up being that important. And then I was just wondering at the end, what could May have said to Torben that made him just voluntarily take the poison? Like, what did he do?
Yeah.
What is haunting him?
Somehow I felt weird about
yeah,
that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing that, I mean, yes, it did get explained, but it didn't really, like, I would
at the end
I would have liked to see like a flashback of like what she actually said to him. Like that probably would have provided a little bit more closure. But anyway, I thought yeah, that, and then I also liked the chase. I liked the chase scene actually, when they were like going in, they realized what May was gonna do, and they like went into. I liked that scene actually quite a bit. But
okay.
Yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts about that episode. But and then you also were mentioning something. The female characters are not like. I mean, they're a little bit like you got to suspend your belief a little bit. I thought that was a bit odd because I'm pretty sure that most, if not all, of the directors were actually women.
Yes, yeah, I didn't check that out. That's even more irritating.
I was looking at the credits, and like the main director.
If that's the case, I'm like,
was the same person. So I was just a little bit confused by that. Because, like, I don't know, but, like, maybe, I mean, I do think probably, like, they tried their best and it just didn't really translate that well.
It depends on who wrote the scripts, right?
Yeah, and also, it's also the script, so, yeah. Anyway, so that's
I'm sorry, but especially now, you can see so many really well-written, female characters.
Yeah.
I just, really, anyways. Yeah. Okay, so you go ahead with Destiny.
Okay, so I felt really conflicted about this episode because I understand why Osha wanted to leave, because she wanted to change the pace. She wanted, like, she saw something that, like, would fit her better, and she, like, didn't really want to, like, we already saw, like, before she knew, like, the Jedi existed, she didn't really, like, want to go through the whole, like, initiation to the Covenant stuff. But I also understand why May wanted her to stay, because, like, those two are siblings, and the people that I know who have siblings, they're, like, I mean, they're not always, like, they don't always get along with their siblings, and, of course, we see Osha and May don't always get along, right. But they, like, the sibling is, like, the most, like, precious person to them in the world, and, like, the two of them growing up together, like, they're the only children in, like, this entire group of, like, older, like, adults and stuff. And, like, they're really the only two people that they each have.
Yeah, actually, now you think about it, when I thought that was like at first I thought it was like a village, and they were in there. I got that impression. It wasn't until later on that I realized it was really just them, and I guess people that were doing things for them.
It's just them. But anyway, yeah. So I understand, like, both sides of what the two of them wanted. I'm just like, I don't really know who was, I mean, no one was, like, right or wrong per se, but I don't know, like, I can understand why both of them felt the way that they did. And then I also said, like, I feel like we're still not getting the whole story about, like, what's going on or what went on there all that time ago, because, like, everyone was collapsed. We saw, like, in the flashbacks during the fire, but no one was burnt. There was no smoke.
Right.
Why were they dead?
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on with that. I didn't know what was going on at the time. I didn't know what was going on.
That was just so obvious.
So something else is going on.
So predictable, but I that's sort of
something else is going on. And then I was also wondering, why were the Jedi so insistent on taking them? Because, like, I mean, we this is really the first thing that we see, like, in the Old Republic era, but, like, it just seems really odd that the Jedi are so insistent on trying to get those two kids. But then again, on the other side, why is the Covenant so insistent on keeping those two kids? I mean, they say, like, they're the future of the Covenant and all that stuff, but, like, why are they so, like, if they have those two kids, what's going on with that? Like, can't they just find more kids, get more kids? But no, I don't know.
Or have more kids.
Yeah. So that was like, I was a little bit
odd, right?
Yeah, I was like a little bit. That's a little bit odd. Why are these two so important? What's going on here? Where something's up.
Something's up. Yeah. So I didn't actually think about it that way in terms of the kids. I just That's interesting. I didn't think of that.
It's just odd.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, so I mean,
now
we know now. But
at the
back
time,
then, I wasn't really thinking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did I say? Okay, the first thing I said is, okay, May did set the fire, but again, something weird. Yeah. Family's dead, no evidence of fire or burns, smoke, nothing there. So I figured the Jedi killed them. That's what I literally wrote that down.
I thought that.
I was just like, because Torben ended his life willingly, right? I mean, which is, Jedi are supposed to be somewhat detached in a way, right? They're not supposed to let their emotions get the better of them.
No friends? No friends?
Well,
no attachments.
So I was just like, it must have been something pretty bad for a Jedi to do that. But then, anyways, so. So starting with my ideas, starting to get the sense that the Acolyte will be Osha. That's what I wrote down.
I was not
starting to get the sense that the Acolyte will be Osha in the end. Predictable. She is more emotional. That's what I said. Literally wrote that down.
Well, I mean, okay.
So, favorite scene, under the tree, and see the contrast between Osha and the insect, whatever that thing was, right? That sort of thingy that was flying around that looked like sort of butterfly, dragonfly thing. Yeah. You see that in May, and they're different. Their attitudes were very different with that. Again, there's Osha being so like, why are you doing that? So she's very emotional, and the other one is like, because I can, so a very different kind of thing. So it May sound like appear meaner,
or
right?
less sympathetic,
or
because like arguably the main character is kind of is more or less supposed to be Osha, like at least more even towards the beginning.
But I already had a sense that because this is so predictable. Like this is how I felt about the Acolyte. It was very predictable. Yeah. Except for a couple of things threw me, but I was like, it's just going to be the Acolyte. It's just going to be the Acolyte.
And I felt that a little bit more towards the end because I was
already at episode 3 at Destiny. But also the ceremony scene was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, but Osha again. Challenging and wants her own way. So that right away is like, that's not Jedi behavior, right? Yeah. Right away there, you want...
Well, I mean, you look at like young Anakin Skywalker.
And you see how that ended.
Oh, I guess that's true.
And then I have more. I went on to the back page. It said, aware of some controversy again. Oh, this was... Because then I looked online, not because I was interested to see, what was happening, because we were behind. Like, we were like behind. a week and a half, or 2 weeks behind at one point.
Oh, no, we were on time at
the beginning, but then we kind of fell behind. So I just kind of looked, and then, that's what I wrote about here. Aware that there's a controversy again in the fandom.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Even though I don't want to follow it, but I just don't know. I just didn't, and again, I haven't been following. I don't know what's out there right now. I just didn't know where the hate was coming from. I just thought that was ridiculous. I mean, really, this is not reality. People get a grip. Why is this like hate going on?
I don't think it was like the strongest show that they've put out. I mean, we know.
Yeah, but there was backlash about
it wasn't really bad. It was still definitely irrefutably Star Wars. It wasn't like the strongest one, but it wasn't like terrible. Anyway.
So why is all this hating going on these days? I mean,
I don't know.
Just like, again, I think I even said this before in one of our other podcasts. I think with Doctor Who. Like, why can't we just be glad there's cool stuff on TV? Like, so like, I mean, there's one thing to be critical about the show, but it's another thing to be critical about the actors. That's the part. Why are you doing that?
I stand by the fact, I think that the actors did a very good job, especially the fact that
really. Why is just like,
Osha and
they
didn't
cast
by the
themselves.
same person. Like, it's hard to do two different people at the same time. Yeah.
And they didn't cast themselves. No. All right. Anyways, I just was like, that came up. All right. Okay. All right. So if we keep the pattern up, then I should start with Day on Day, right? Because I finished off here, right? We're just going back and forth trading. Okay, so episode 4, Day. Okay, it's an interesting way of naming.
One thing before I get into it, I didn't like the fact because like every other show so far, or at least most of them, have followed, like, either they have a consistent naming pattern the whole way through, or they don't have a consistent naming pattern the whole way through. I was going on a, like, rant about this, like, when we were looking at it, because...
Why are they
like,
changing the naming
some
mechanism?
Some of them have, like, every 2 episodes are the same name pattern, and then then there's just one in there, and then some of them don't. There's no, like, overall thing, and I think
they went in twos. I think they went.
No,
in
they didn't go in twos. They didn't even go in twos. And then they started like the whatever at the beginning, and then they didn't do it for a while, and then they did it again, and then I was like, I wanted them to either stick to something or not stick to something. Like, I mean, this isn't the fault of the show. It's just something that kind of irks me.
Or other shows where they just have different names for the
I mean, like the Mandalorian is always the something, and like Andor was. I mean, Andor they didn't really.
This kind
have,
of reminded me about like the new MacGyver where they did like Hammer.
And then they started getting like something plus something plus something. Yeah. But
sorry.
See, something like that where they have something and they roll with it, or like they just don't have something and they just go with it, but they tried but they didn't.
And they didn't.
They did. It doesn't take away from the show at all.
There's only 8 episodes. At least you could say with the new MacGyver, they just ran out of like
and they just added. Then they're just adding things. But anyway, that's discussion for another time.
Oh my god. Okay, so Day.
Yeah.
All right, favorite scene again on Coruscant. Jackie Lan?
Yeah.
And others in training. I like that. I don't know why I like that stuff. And Jackie, I just thought she was cool.
I love Jackie.
That was a cool female.
Jackie was my favorite character. I love
that. That one was a cool character. I could get into Jackie, give me more
I would
Jackie.
like a spin-off Jackie series. I want to see Jackie the Padawan going in training.
How she got there. So I like the exchange between her and Osha. I really like that. And I wrote this, still concerned that this will end predictably. Although I actually didn't see that ending coming. Okay, so it was nice to be surprised. I was surprised at the ending of Day. Again, now I really think Osha will be the Acolyte. Soul wants to explain something and is afraid to do it. Ergo, will shake her faith in him, right? So ergo, this is how that's going to go down.
Okay.
All right. So that's my favorite scene. That's my prediction. Okay. You go.
Okay. Yeah. So I was kind of like, what is the obsession with like killing without a weapon for like May? Like, why is that?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Why does that have to be? I guess that's a Sith thing.
I guess it must be, and like because this is like really the first like look we get at that. Like I'm sure probably in like the older like the Del Rey books, there might, I don't know, I didn't read all of them, but there might be something that kind of explains that, but
let's qualify that. I'm the one that has the Star Wars book collection, but I haven't read any of them. I don't have all of them, but I kind of I was doing this thing where every time I would go into a used bookshop, I would try and pick one up, and
it's interesting that
you read them, I didn't.
Yeah, it's interesting that this show seems to be like blending, they're now trying to bring in stuff from the old canon before Disney purchased Star Wars and made everything obsolete. They're trying to bring some things in with that and like the books that they're publishing right now, because now they have the entire series of like the High Republic or the Old Republic or something. I haven't actually read any of them, but now they're bringing that all into this new timeline. I think it's interesting, and that's another reason why I feel like this show felt a little bit more clunky than its other counterparts, because it's trying to go to an older period that we haven't really seen before, and it had interesting ideas, but it just wasn't executed to the way it could have been.
So was there something about killing without a weapon?
I don't know.
I was trying to get.
I was thinking it might be. I didn't actually really look into that, but
maybe that's a thing.
I say it's not really explained. Why
so if you're listening to this, and if you know that's a thing, let us know.
Let us know, because I actually did not do the research into this, but which is weird for me, but I didn't. Anyway, and then I didn't like Basil. I didn't like him. Like he just was like a little bit like, why was he there? I mean, like, yeah, he was like the guide and the tracker.
Are you talking about Basil? Basil?
Yeah, the little.
He was cute.
I didn't like him.
Whip smart.
I found him annoying. I didn't like him. Okay. I don't know.
See, you're annoyed by different things.
I don't know. I just didn't like him, which is weird because like normally I would, but like I just didn't really like him.
Okay, so no little Basil's plush toys at Christmas.
No, I just didn't really see a point for him, like, 'cause, like,
to go with your porg.
Yes, he was a tracker and the guy, but like they seem to do just fine without him when they lose him because they lost him, and like, and then also like it's just like Yord's the only one who can understand him. So like if Yord isn't with the rest of the group, or if,
there's that.
Yeah. But anyway, so. But they seem to do just fine without him when they lose him. Like they still found their way to Kalnakas, and partially because like they heard. I think they heard him.
Yeah, there's that.
But
no, they heard.
But they still did fine without him. So I just didn't really see much of the point. And then like later on, I still didn't really see much of the point. Like why was he there? But anyway, and then also how the heck did May's master get there? Like how did that happen? Well, we know how that happened, but like at the time, how did that happen? And now I feel like
just when you thought something good could come out of that May,
like before
decisions made
like
for
before
her.
with Chimera, I feel like May in this episode was like now playing both sides. Like now she's kind of like wavering, and it just seemed like a little bit like. I feel like the characters were just a little bit inconsistent. Because like before this, like May was like completely dead set.
Yeah,
but
that's sort of the thing that I'm getting at. It's just like,
and like I mean, yes, I understand people change, people whatever, but it's just like really quick.
I just didn't feel like the characters were growing. That was
so that is nice. Just as a whole, I feel like some of the characters are really inconsistent for the sake of the plot. She spent like 16 years trying to kill all these people, and now she wants to just surrender just because like. She just wants to surrender, escape her master. But like it's just a little bit. I just was thinking that, but but otherwise, I like the scene with the I think with the umbra moth, like the big the moth thing, the big bug. I thought that was interesting, and it was like because like it's attractive to the light. Turn all your lights.
But again, that was predictable. It's like as soon as it's just
but I like
they're all gonna fly down and out.
I liked it. I liked the
big
scene.
Surprise.
I thought
it looked cool. But you knew it was coming. I guess that they're trying to build a bit of like, okay, these things are gonna fly. Run,
But I like
it's like horror movies when you see the monster coming and the other people are just like,
we were watching it. I was yelling, "You're gonna turn your lightsaber off."
Okay, so that was episode 4, right? Keeping a pattern, then you start with 5.
Yeah,
so night.
I did not like it. I said bad because
you did.
I literally did. You can see I did. I was mad because I actually started to like Yord because like I thought like these few moments with Yord he actually was like starting to like be smart and I liked him. I thought like okay if he stays alive whatever that would be okay.
He was behaving very Jedi-like.
He was behaving very Jedi-like and I was like okay, and I literally said before he died I really hope he survives this but I think he's gonna die, but I really hope he survives this because I'm actually starting to like him now. Anyway, so but then so then literally 2 minutes later he died. And then I am also very mad because this is a common theme with me. I pick favorite characters and then always, every single time something bad happens to them, they either die or they get like maimed or they get like muted. Something really happens to them, or they like suffer a lot. Like I loved Jackie and she died. And I was literally like the entire episode. I was like, please don't kill Jackie.
But at least she died.
Please don't kill Jackie, and then she died
in a brave way.
Like, because I liked her, and then she died anyway, and then I predicted like we said like earlier I like something with the twins is gonna be important, and I was thinking they're gonna do like a twin switcheroo, and they did a twin switcheroo, and that's what happened, and that's what I thought. Justice for Jackie.
I have stuff to say
Justice
about
for Jackie, justice for Andara, justice for pretty much
justice for the characters that should have. Okay, so for me, for Night, so we just got rid of all our family of characters.
Everyone died.
Anyone that we cared about, we just got rid of them all. I mean, Soul is still there,
Soul
but
is still
you know,
there. And the twins are still there.
I didn't see all of that coming, but once it started, I knew how it was going to go down. So we were going to lose someone. So I guess the surprise was that all of them were lost.
Yeah,
so
I
guess
think
that
all
was
of them would die, but like no.
that was probably, and then again, the disappointment that I had again was the predictability. I'm like, seriously, we're going to do the twin switcheroo.
The twin switcheroo.
The twin switcheroo trope. I did see twin switcheroo trope. I actually really.
That's what I said. I literally wrote that.
And at the end, of course, the Sith can figure out which one is rich, but not the Jedi. I mean, I'm calling him a Sith because I guess that's what they become.
That's what he says. But
then at the Jedi Master, of course, can't tell.
Yeah. I kind of doubted that. But
even though Osha's unconscious and he could tell.
Yeah.
And then my prediction, I still think that Osha equals Acolyte. And will kill Saul. I actually wrote that down. Without a weapon.
Yeah.
And maybe even May. I thought she might even kill her own sister.
Yeah.
And then to determine who's going to be the better one. And I mean, in the end, it was kind of like
fight to the death.
Yeah, it wasn't that she killed her, but in a way, she had to be gotten rid of. I mean, so not a bad prediction. Thinking back to the fire, May would have killed Osha. That May would have killed Osha. Actually, that would have happened, but it didn't happen. At least, what did I say? At least she didn't find a way to escape. So that part was true, right? So that was kind of the thing there, right? Does that make sense?
No, that doesn't make sense.
Okay, so
what do you? I did not understand that.
because thinking back to the fire. All right. If she really wanted to get rid of Osha, she would have killed her. That's sort of my thing, right? And then
we see like really what actually happened.
Yeah, and then we see what actually happened. So that was the thing. So I don't think that she wanted to kill her sister. No, I really don't. So that was my point. All right. So even though I didn't say it very well. All right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So that part was going on there. What I liked. Clearly well done. This is how I'm going down to the budget. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, so I'm gonna even though the parts of the plot were really predictable, it looks really well done. Good budget. The effects are good, which to me are
this one
is like movie level quality. Yeah. I thought it really was.
Yeah.
The acting was also spot on. Was on for the brand. So that was fine. Again, thinking that the original Star Wars had some level of predictability as well. At some level, Luke and Vader. I mean, you could have predicted that. I just feel like now we're a little. I'm trying to temper the fact that I feel, because I think that the show was well done. I think the acting was done and well done, and in all of this, I just feel like I could predict things. Yeah. and why did I start doing that?
I just the fact that it was marketed as like a mystery type thing, but then like it kind of didn't.
Yeah. So that was kind of the thing.
That's really kind of. Yeah, like I mean, yes, it was like a mystery. It was like mystery action thriller or something, is what the description says. But it was more of action thriller.
Yeah. So, mystery. But anyways, so that's where we're going with that. So I don't want you to think that I didn't like the series. I did like the series, right? But there was this level of predictability and the whole twin thing. I guess that's why I was like, oh, come on. We've seen that so many times that twins get switched around and the switcheroo thing. And I'm like, it didn't need to be like that. I mean, they could have realized that they, anyways, I want that kind of thing really bothered me. I'm like, come on, everything is so well, like this, you spent so much money. The acting is so great. Why?
Okay. Anyway, so you're in the next episode.
All right, so I'm supposed to start the next one. Yep. All right, so number 6, right? Now we're going back to the double title. So teach corrupt, right? I think we're both pretty vocal about the whole interaction with Osha and the stranger or Kimir or whatever his name is. All right.
Yeah.
That was really frustrating. Right?
Yeah.
And then being so tempted to put on the helmet, the whole Vader-like breathing thing was that was a little much. Yeah. I just felt that was a little much. So and at the end I said,
also, what is it with like Sith and helmets? Like,
I don't know.
We saw this in like
they're all doing that.
Yeah, like why? It's just
Kylo Ren, like even though he wasn't really Sith, but that whole So sticking to my hypothesis.
All the Inquisitors, except for the first Inquisitor. But, like, most of the Inquisitors, almost all of the Inquisitors, it's just...
You're bringing in all the different shows. Yeah. So there's that. So
it's interesting. What do they have to hide?
What do they
have to hide?
So then I go, okay, so it was really frustrating. I was tempted to put on the house. Okay, sticking to my hypothesis, the whole I'm not as corruptible as my sister thing, when in fact she wanted to leave him to be with her. Like,
wait. Yes. Wait.
Yeah, no.
Wait.
What am I saying?
No, wait. Huh?
You can tell these notes were fresh. I'm not as corruptible as my sister, right?
Okay.
Is what she says.
Yes.
But then she's so tempted to put on the helmet.
Okay.
So she's clearly corruptible, right? And then at the same time, she's also playing double sides as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, why is she listening to him?
Why is she even? So that was sort of the thing that I was doing.
Also, like, he just kidnapped her. Like, he knew it was her. Why he just took her?
He just took her. So there's that, and then the whole resetting of Pip.
Yeah,
that was cruel.
That
was really cruel. But that was more like something would happen in Andor. Now that I think about it, so
I guess and also that seems like something that like. Someone who's like not morally just would do
that. Well, because it's basically, at the same time,
rid of a person. It's basically like murder.
But May wouldn't know that.
Well, no,
Pip
she didn't know that.
Osha's best
bud.
But
like to us,
it's kind of like So it's kind of like, oh my god.
And then it never gets fixed.
It never got fixed. And then I said the one with the most sense is Basil.
I just like him.
I know it's just
I didn't like
that little guy knew what was going on. I just thought
he knew, but he didn't do anything.
And then at the end didn't find a way to escape, so that part was true. So what was I? Oh no, that's going back to the other thing. Sorry, that was my other thing. So that's because I wrote on both sides of the paper.
Okay,
all right. So that was sort of my thing on. Oh wait, no, I got more. So
there's more.
Vernestra. Making me again frustrated. Because she's trying to hide everything.
Yeah.
No, there's
a lot
foreshadowing.
Of, like,
so Vernestra making me again frustrated, trying to hide what's going on. Politics. I guess we know how that this will run its course, but it really makes you wonder if it is her own reputation or if it is the order she's trying to protect.
I feel like a bit of both, honestly.
And the slight insinuation, okay, so this is where it goes. So the slight insinuation that Sol was the master who did the damage really speaks to how powerful she could be. So that was a non sequitur for me, but I mean,
soul slander.
But at the end, it makes sense, right? So I was already like, what is she doing? Why is she doing that?
Yeah.
So I guess in hindsight, looking at these notes,
but it also like that does like happen like a lot in like it that does happen,
So
anyway,
okay,
that seemed like to me, like thinking back on it, that seemed like a little bit of like the Mon Mothma bit in Andor, like with all like the playing politics and the.
But that's the one thing. There's always a lot of politics in, and I think that's kind of interesting because I like Dune. I haven't seen any of the movies, but there's a lot of politics in the books for Dune. I've read all 6. Lots of politics in there. So I guess that's kind of
interesting that part.
A thing. That's why I've told you maybe you don't want to read them yet because there's so much politics.
That's a weird thing. Like one of my favorite. Like anyway, that's we should talk about that.
We'll talk about that. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are now going to go in with choice.
No.
you're still going to do. Sorry, teach corrupt. Yeah. Teach corrupt. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay. Okay. So then so this one I feel like it was again. I felt like it was a weird dynamic between like Osha's just completely taken in by the stranger's words, like just like she literally just saw him murder all her friends and like, but okay.
Oh yeah. There was that's what I was trying to get at, right? She's not corruptible. That's what that note was about, right? And literally, she just kind of like what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It just didn't really like. I was just like, okay, this guy just like killed off all of your allies. And like Jackie,
and you're not corruptible,
and like Yorn, and like okay, anyway, and like he could have killed off Sol for all you know, but anyway, that just happened. I couldn't believe that like this entire episode he didn't realize, or Soul, sorry, I should clarify, Soul didn't realize that Osha was actually married because like he basically was her dad, and he didn't.
That's my point.
He didn't realize that
it's like the Sith didn't
for like half the time.
Kimar didn't even really know.
Yeah.
Osha, right? And he was,
and he knew that it was her, and like I mean, like now we know, like,
and how to manipulate her.
Yeah, it's just weird because like he was basically her master and like basically her dad for like years, and then like it was just weird.
That was like,
and then I said just again some really weird ways of making the characters fit the plot and to progress the plot instead of the other way around, just keeping the characters consistent and writing around that. But it just felt a little bit odd, and like this is like. Now the characters are really starting to get a little bit mushy.
Yeah, it's starting to get messy, right? And that was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, what I was saying about Venestra,
I really liked the location that they put Osha and like the stranger. I liked that. Yeah, I liked that location. I don't know where that is, but I liked that.
Did they not mention that planet? I can't remember. I'll have to look that up.
They did.
If you're listening to this,
mention the planet, but I just don't know where it was actually filmed.
Oh, okay. So if you're listening to this and you know, please comment,
where was
because
that filmed?
Right now we don't know.
Really
we have to look that up.
And
it was interesting.
It reminded me of like where they filmed where like Luke was like hiding in I think that was in like New Zealand or something. It just kind of reminds me of that environment. I liked it. I like caves and water. I like caves and water in Star Wars. I just like it. I don't know. It's just a little bit weird, but I liked it. I thought it was nice. I'd like to live there.
That would be cool.
Caves and water. But anyway, I like the location. I think it looks nice.
It was a nice location.
I'd like to live in a cave. I like a nice cave though, not like a grimy cave.
Not
like,
a grimy cave.
Like a nice cave, like the caves they have in Star Wars.
So are you saying that he would be able to tempt you?
No,
to join
I just like the cave.
And learn the dark side.
He's got a cool cave. Anyway. Yeah, so
I don't know. It's just I was just like really like Anyways, so my prediction is still.
And then
okay. So
my turn now.
Your turn, right?
Yeah,
You're gonna do
choice.
That's now we're on episode 7.
Okay, so then
if you're paying attention,
this was another flashback episode, and I feel like honestly, my feeling was they didn't really need. Like, yes, they I think they put it in the right place, but I feel like they just didn't need the whole episode to explain this because like half of it was literally just Soul sneaking in through the backgrounds of things that we've already seen happen, and like I know it's like to help contextualize
that
all
he was
the things.
Seeing everything.
I just
saw all of it.
Yeah, I just didn't really feel like we needed an entire episode for this, so I felt like it was a little bit stretched out. And now we're just like dropping like forced versions in here. Like this is like the second to last episode, the penultimate episode.
Yeah, and
we're just dropping.
They didn't really expand on that. I would have liked to know a little bit more about that.
And then I did a little bit.
Is
of
that
research.
something from the? Oh, you did research.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it was. But it was mostly mentioned in the Clone Wars series, so where Ahsoka's originally from. The Clone Wars series is mostly mentioned in there. It's also mentioned in Star Wars Rebels, where Sabine's originally from. But the most famous person who was a virgin, or was a product of a virgin's history, was Anakin, because Anakin was literally born from the Force. He's an example of a human virgin. So like the creation.
Why was he born from the Force? I have to try and think that back. I mean, here you can see the witches.
It's been a while.
Maybe they don't.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. If you're listening and you remember, you're an even more Star Wars nerd than we are.
In history, Anakin
free.
Was like in this timeline right now. Anakin was the only one who was like a person who was created from this, and it was like a huge thing. And this is set in 148 before Battle of Yavin, and Anakin was born in 41 before Battle of Yavin. BBY. I don't know.
You're such a history nerd. Like you're a history nerd in real life.
Anyway, this is 100 years beforehand. But then when Anakin comes around, this is like acting like, oh, he's the chosen one. Why was this such like a big thing when he was born and that all happened? But like this already happened 100 years before that now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess it was all like covered up and stuff. But like the Jedi must have still had it in their records somewhere. So it just
did they though?
It just is like a little bit weird.
Based on
like,
episode 8.
If May and Osha caused so much damage, scandal or not, like why was Anakin being like a product of the Force treated as such a novel thing? Because like even we see at the end, Yoda was around. A whole bunch of these Jedi Masters were around.
Yeah, but was that Yoda? Like that's
anyways. Of course it was Yoda.
We'll get to it because that makes
we're pretty
really
sure.
helpful.
But at least I think it was like Kiadi Mundi was around. Like these guys were all around, or at least some of them were around, so they knew that this happened. So it just is a little bit of a non sequitur.
But do we?
What
do they?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to that because I don't think
Anyway,
they know.
Okay, never mind. But I just thought it was a little bit weird that like these people were around and they knew that this had happened before, but it just was like treated as such a big novel thing when Anakin. Yes. Anyway.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Okay.
That was my thoughts.
So that was 7.
Yeah, that was 7.
Okay, choice. Okay, so my first sentence is, well, I didn't see that coming.
Okay. Be more specific.
Well, I guess by the whole I just didn't see that end coming.
Okay. Yeah. The fact that like we actually see the other side of the story. Yeah.
Like I didn't think that the way the Coven was killed or the Coven was, how do you say it?
I also didn't think that like her mom was actually going to let her go. I didn't think that was going to happen, but anyway.
So that's what I mean. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the Coven was killed by the fire. However, Coven?
Coven.
Like oven with
like
a C.
Oven, but with a C, yeah.
I didn't think the Coven was killed by the fire. However, it was obvious because the bodies weren't burned or anything.
Yeah.
But this already at the end of the second episode, I already said that. But I was just really surprised that is what happened to them. So then I had some trouble. I had trouble with the idea of them being able to enter Kalnaka's mind.
No, but no.
If Indira being strong enough to beat him, then somehow killing the Coven with the Force link, but
that's because so in do you know the Night Sisters? That was like what Morgan Elsbeth was part of. The Night Sisters. So the Night Sisters, and I don't know if this Coven in Acolyte is like a precursor to that or not, but they do like stuff with the Force, but they do similar things. So that's not like a new thing that they just made up for this episode. That was like that kind of ability to do that is not like as
and
far
where
as
did
I
you say
understand,
this came from?
The Night Sisters, Morgan Elsbeth in Ahsoka was a member of the
Okay. So, I'm sorry. I was just irritated with
the whole like idea of like force
I get it.
Switches, like it's not like a new novel thing, and also I'm not entirely sure because I'm not
I didn't make that connection at all.
I'm not that well versed in like this whole the whole like aspect of Star Wars, but as far as I understand, I don't think this is like an entirely new thing to do with the Force.
But then so for Indira to be able to kill them all, they'd all have to be connected.
All, like, connected. Yeah, so it's
and then you can connect them by whatever they're doing. Like anyway, so
the
that's
Force
what
connects
happened.
everything. So they're all connected through the Force. I don't know.
And I had a feeling that Soul had something to do with the death of the mother. But honestly, so Soul killed Mama. I put down, but I don't think it was intentional.
No,
I really don't think so.
Because I don't think he knew that I don't think he knew that it would actually do anything.
And then letting Coral beat him up, like he just
because he felt I mean, sorry doesn't fix things, but
no, it doesn't. But it wasn't intentional.
Yeah,
I really don't think that he meant to do that.
Yeah.
So then, what did I say here?
Okay.
So then I said, interesting fight scene, but so many things just seem odd to me. And maybe it's because I don't know all of this history.
Well, I
didn't put things together, but I was like, where is all this coming from? Like, I was just,
That's where that came from.
So, and then Soul basically then having to choose which twin, and then also to go out against his nature to tell the truth due to Indara's instruction. Like, now in episode 8, I'll talk about 8
because he was fully ready to go for a trial and like whatever.
Yeah, so he was ready to do that, but Indara didn't. And Indara is like no, and then Torben choosing to end his life when in the end he didn't actually do the worst of the damage. He didn't actually do anything. He just
was. I guess he was just complicit in covering it up.
I guess, but like, I mean, really. Yeah. So still, and then here I said, so I still think that Osha will be the Acolyte and kill everyone. That's what I said. I still think that's how it's going to go down. That was my prediction at the end.
Let me see that because I'm going to say something that I forgot.
What are you thinking about?
I was thinking something.
It'll come back to you. You should have.
No. That's what it was. Having to choose which one. Why didn't he just? Because he was holding the bridge up, the both sides of the bridge up. Why didn't he just
I don't think he could.
Why
I think
didn't he
the point
just
was
lift both
that
of them up off the ground?
He couldn't have enough strength to do it.
I guess
that was sort of what I got.
I don't know. It just
and that was haunting him that he didn't.
It was a little bit weird. But,
you know, so that well, but I mean that they have to do something to move the plot forward. So that's what it was. But,
I guess.
But the whole thing, you know, and then I was like mad at the end of this. I just was like, no. Anyways, so 8. So 8. Does that mean I go into 8 and then you finish? Yeah, because
yes.
Okay, so 8.
I'm losing track.
What was the title of 8? I didn't.
The Acolyte.
Oh, The Acolyte. There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. It's
they did it. They did the title.
They did the title. I go so well, or well so. I was right. Okay. Osha, yes, The Acolyte, and yes, but that's so predictable. I predicted it already on what was that, episode 2? You know.
Anyway.
Yes, Acolyte, and yes, killed Soul without a weapon.
It disappointed me. I was disappointed.
But wow, no, I did not see that they would pin the entire thing on Soul.
No.
Venestra, shame on you. Shame on you, particularly because Soul was the one who wanted to confess about the whole thing in the first place.
Yeah.
And Indira said no, so you're going to pin it on anyone. I guess it wasn't convenient. You couldn't pin it on Indira. I mean, so really,
it seems like Soul murdered everyone. No,
it's like what?
Anyway,
so in the end, it really paints the Jedi as totally corrupt. You know, it really does. You know, Venestra was the one who was the master of Khmer or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And so
so in the
end,
I thought it was Soul, but I guess it wasn't.
No.
Okay. So
it was her.
Oh wait, no. Sorry.
So she was the evil master that was cruel to him and made that. And so she started the. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so it left me feeling bad. Mm-hmm. So not good. You know, not sure about season 2. I don't even know where you're going to go with that.
Well,
I mean, because what are you going to do? You already know that she corrupted him, and because she was cruel, because she could clearly tell she has a character flaw. So what are you going to build on? It's just interesting. This? I don't know.
I think it was interesting they were exploring the nuances of the Jedi and that they're not really.
Yeah, but big surprise there. Anything with a lot of power.
But I do. I feel
but
we also saw this in other.
Sure, we saw that. I mean, and that's, but it sort of blames the Jedi for the rise of the Sith, right? So in a way, right? Yeah. So I mean, but I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. It's kind of weird. But I mean,
it provides a lot of thought.
But the thing is, I don't know what you're going to do with an episode with a season 2.
Well, I don't think they're going to make.
I don't think they can because there's really nothing there. I mean, unless you want to see, the interaction between.
I want a Jackie spinoff.
Well, a Jackie spinoff.
Spinoff.
But what are you going to see? You're going to see the corruption, how Venestra corrupted Khmer, and that's ultimately it's the Jedi's fault that there's Sith. I
think we pretty much left it at.
I mean, so. I don't know where this would go. I mean. And I feel like okay. So here I am. Let me qualify this because obviously I'm fine with bad endings because of Andor. Yeah. But this is not what I mean.
Andor's not done yet. But
you know where Andor how and then every episode of Andor was depressing. Every single one. It's like how much more crap in this poor.
I hope he finds his sister and she's okay.
Yeah, I know he's not gonna find her sister. His sister. There's no way. Just that would be non sequitur for Andor, but I don't think so. Or maybe he's gonna get a hint.
He's gonna find his sister and she's gonna be dead.
that may be, but so it's not that I'm uncomfortable with unhappy endings. I think with this, it just speaks so badly about the Jedi, right? Yeah. I think that's the thing that really bugs me about it. Because, I mean, it is okay that there can be some corruption, but it really pins the whole thing about the Sith on the Jedi, right? That's sort of, right? In my mind, anyways.
I guess. I wasn't really getting that, but...
Well, that's how I felt about it at the end. I mean, he's like the one that, because Osha ends up being the first Acolyte, right? So, so he's sort of the first... master, I guess, right?
I just feel. I feel like I guess it would have been inevitable for that to happen.
I
anyway,
guess, but I was just like, what are we going to do with
this
now?
I'm just thinking, actually, so there's a Star Wars novel that I really quite like that's not, like, it's based off of an episode of Star Wars Visions, which is already not canon. So this novel is not canon at all. It's Star Wars Visions.
Canon, not canon.
Yeah, Star Wars Visions Ronin, and I really liked the way that, like, because that kind of did almost the same thing. It was set in this era, and it kind of explained, like, how the Jedi and the Sith came to be, like, how that happened. And I liked the way that they did that. And it just was interesting. And it's been a little while since I read the book, so I don't quite remember how they did it, but I just remember I really liked the way that was done, and it was not done in this same way. So I just feel like a few notes from that could have, anyway. And so my thoughts on The Acolyte, the last episode. I saw the ending coming at the end, and I really was hoping
I can see that. I hoped it wouldn't happen.
I really hoped it wouldn't happen, but yes, the twin switcheroo until the end. They held on to that until the end. They literally just switched places, pretty much.
Yeah, and I mean, even though May didn't die at the end, I mean, she kind of did. Yeah,
because she's not the same person.
She kind of, like, gave up. So, I mean, I guess
to, like, her, what, 12?
No, I mean, she's still grown up, but her memories are gone. But I think there's still something there. I really do. So I guess if they do a second season of The Acolyte, they could play with something with May, right?
I just feel like there isn't much of a need for that. And also, I wanted to say I didn't like the soul slander. I didn't like the message.
I didn't see that part coming.
I didn't like,
even though they kind of foreshadowed a bit of that when they went there. On that whatever planet where the stranger Kimar killed all of the things and all of the other Jedi, the Jedi, and they were like, "Oh, could Soul have done this?" And she was like, "Oh yes, he could have." Like, and but why would he do that? So they kind of foreshadowed that they could paint it that way. But I mean, who would think they were going to go that way? Because I mean, Soul, right? I mean, that guy was probably anyways. So there was that.
So those are my thoughts. Those are my only thoughts on the last one.
Okay,
I like the fight scene again.
Yeah,
I like the fight scene. I liked
and the killing of Soul without a weapon. Just
the
literally
the cinematicness of the lightsaber blade slowly bleeding red. I really
yeah. That was
that's
good.
like really kind of the first time in, like, at least in the Disney Plus series that we see, like, a lightsaber blade physically change color during a fight. That was cool. I liked that because, like,
you can always see the emotion taking hold.
No, because the lightsaber crystals, like, they're supposed to be, like, tied to, like, your, like, well, like, I say your emotion, but, like, really, because, like, the blue is for, like, the Guardians, and the green is for other way around. Green is for, like, the people who are more, like, into, like, the knowledge part. They tend to, like, look and think rather than do, and then blue is for, like, people who would rather, like, do and then think. Then yellow is, like, a bit of both. And anyway,
but then of course, and then red is, you know who has the pink one or whatever, purple or whatever. Purple,
yeah. But anyway, it's just real, and I like the fact that
if you're hip, you can do what you want.
Well, no, but Indara also had purple.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think it's theorized that, like, that like, purple is, like, someone who, like, is, like, a little bit, like, has the capacity to potentially turn to the dark side, or, like, they're just, like, very, like, their fighting style is very, like, aggressive-esque. But
yeah, I'm not into all this stuff.
Anyway,
whatever it is.
Okay,
cool.
Anyway, but it's just I really thought that was cool. I liked that.
That was a neat effect, but then it's all over. It's like, oh, well, there we go.
but I really quite liked that.
It's just like, oh, we're done. Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so, I guess we're done now, too. Yes. So we got to the end. This is a longer podcast, but, we haven't done any Star Wars.
We went off on tangents.
We talked about other stuff. And, if you listen to the end, that's great. Hopefully you leave us a comment.
Yes.
Try to go to our YouTube location if you're listening on audio and have a look at what we have
there.
We have interesting things, and we also have other things on the channel. Yes. I mean, I do a lot of, just so you know, I do a lot of hikes. I got, like, chill stuff, got some chill music stuff.
It's not all intense talking
about intense talking about fandom. So, you can, visit us. yeah, so
Yes.
I guess that's it for now, and
That
I
is.
guess we've got plans for other
Yeah.
things, and we'll see how that's going to go. And
We should do Andor.
we should do.
We should
When
do
is Andor coming out?
2025.
Okay, well, next year we'll.
I don't remember when. I watched the
We'll see.
promo thing for it.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what we
see.
shall do.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess on that note, I will thank you for listening and being part of the Birds on Power Lines podcast.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.